Listen closely, because this is not the voice of comfort. This is the echo that rises when everything else falls silent. This is the pulse that beats beneath your scars, the whisper that crawls through the ruins of what they thought would be your end. Welcome, wanderer of storms, survivor of nights that had no mercy. You are standing at the edge of what broke you, staring into the same darkness that once swallowed you whole, and yet you are still breathing. And that breath, that fragile, stubborn breath, is the sound of defiance itself. You were not made to shine in comfort. You were forged in the kind of silence that shakes the bones, in the kind of loneliness that tests the meaning of existence. They thought you would bend beneath the weight of what fell upon you. They thought your light would flicker out when the winds of life grew cruel. But they never understood. The storm was not your enemy, it was your birthplace. Every hit you took, every scar you wear, is a line written by destiny's harshest hand, and you learned to read them like scripture. There were days you couldn't lift your head, nights when your chest felt like a battlefield where hope fought for its last breath. You looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the eyes that stared back. But even then, something in you refused to die, something deeper than pain, older than fear, a spark that whispered, "Not yet." You didn't know why you kept going, you just did. And that choice, that silent decision to move when everything begged you to stop, was the moment the universe shifted in your favor. Every person who doubted you wrote your prophecy too soon. They saw your silence and mistook it for surrender. They saw you fall and believed it was your final act. They couldn't see the truth, that in that fall, you were gathering the pieces of yourself, building a foundation only you could stand upon. They couldn't see the quiet architecture of your resilience taking shape in the dark. You were creating something no one else could imagine, a throne, carved from the wreckage of everything meant to destroy you. The world breaks the soft-hearted first. It crushes those who love deeply, who care too much, who try to find light even in ruins. But that's where your legend was born. Because when the breaking came, you didn't just survive, you transformed. You learned that the same pain that burns your soul can also forge your crown. You stopped asking, "Why me?" and started whispering, "Watch me." Now you move differently. There's a gravity in your silence, a power in your restraint. You no longer explain your journey, you embody it. Every scar has become a story, every loss a weapon. The world can't recognize you anymore because you're no longer the person they buried in doubt. You are the one who clawed your way back from the depths and made the darkness kneel. And somewhere deep inside, you feel it. That quiet hum, that low vibration that tells you you've crossed a line no one else dared to cross. It's not about revenge. It's not about proving them wrong. It's about becoming the person who no longer needs to prove anything at all. You are no longer a victim of what happened to you. You are the architect of what comes next. This is your awakening, the moment you stop waiting for someone to recognize your worth. This is where you realize that pain was never your punishment. It was your invitation. The universe was not testing your strength. It was revealing it. You are standing now among the ashes of what once held you captive, and you can feel the throne beneath your feet beginning to rise from the debris. So let them watch in silence. Let them see what resilience truly looks like. Let them witness how a soul that refused to break turns every wound into a masterpiece. You are no longer defined by the ruins. You are defined by the way you rebuilt. You are the storm that learned to command itself, the fire that learned to burn without consuming. Because they thought you'd break, but you turned the wreckage into a throne. Every step you take now carries the weight of someone who has stared into the abyss and refused to blink. Every glance you cast at the world is sharpened by the memory of those who doubted, betrayed, and tried to see you crumble. You've walked through corridors of fire and come out not as ashes, but as something more terrifying to them than fear, someone unbreakable. The night is not your enemy anymore, it is your confidant. The darkness does not hide your weaknesses, it reveals your power. And now, every breath you take feels like a warning. To the world, to those who ever mocked you, to the whispers of yesterday. You are a signal, a tremor, a living testament that what was meant to destroy you has been remade into something majestic, something unstoppable. That breath is not just air filling your lungs, it is the echo of resilience, the drumbeat of triumph, the whisper of inevitability. Every inhale reminds you of how far you've come. Every exhale tells the world that nothing can touch the throne you've built from your own wreckage. Pain taught you patience, grief taught you clarity, and betrayal taught you vision. You have walked through the inferno, and the world assumed you would be consumed. But you have learned a secret they will never know. Destruction is merely raw material for creation. Every failure was a brick, every heartbreak a beam, every scar a crown jewel. And now, standing among the debris, you see the throne that has always been yours. Not because it was given, not because it was fair, but because you refused to yield when everything tried to convince you that you had no choice but to fall. Look at your reflection. That person staring back, the one with the shadows under the eyes, the lines carved by suffering, is not fragile. That is a king or queen forged in war, a monarch of their own soul. The throne you sit upon is not gilded or adorned with gold. It is built from the truth of your endurance, the honesty of your battles, the courage to keep moving when all the world said stop. That throne is unshakable, not because you are invincible, but because you have learned to survive when invincibility seemed impossible. They will try to shake you, the world always does. Life sends tempests to remind you that control is an illusion, that peace is fleeting, that every victory is temporary. And yet, you smile at the storm because you have discovered the paradox. The stronger the wind, the firmer your roots. You do not fear the storm, you command it. You do not hide from the lightning, you absorb it. Every warning whispered by fate, every shadow thrown by circumstance, only reminds you of your own power. Every breath you take is a warning, and the world is finally learning how to read it. Do not apologize for your strength. Do not soften the edges that have been sharpened by survival. Do not downplay the power it took to rise when the world expected you to collapse. You are no longer a character in someone else's story of pity or defeat. You are the author, the architect, the storm that writes the laws. Every glance they throw at you, every doubt they harbor in silence, every disbelief etched on their faces. It is fuel. Let it feed the fire. Let it remind you why you cannot and will not break again. And yet, remember this: your throne was built quietly, not in the clamor of recognition, not in the applause of the weak, but in the stillness of those moments when no one was watching. Every breath you took then, the ones that felt shaky, painful, almost like a warning, they were the scaffolding of your empire. They were the quiet signals of power growing where none could see it. And now that throne stands not just as proof of survival, but as a monument to transformation. Look around at the wreckage, every shattered hope, every ruined expectation. Every pain they thought would be your end, it is your foundation. Every piece has a purpose, every shard a meaning. You are living proof that life's cruelest blows are the ones that teach us how to rise higher than ever imagined. You are the paradox, fragile in origin, unstoppable in consequence. Every breath you take reminds the world that the throne is no accident, that it is not a gift, but a conquest. They thought you'd break, and yet here you are. Do you feel it? That low hum beneath your ribs, the vibration that tells you something inside you has changed forever. That is not fear. That is not doubt. That is power being born in the silence between heartbeats. You have crossed a threshold that few dare to approach. You have wandered through corridors of despair, watched shadows take shape where light refused to linger, and yet you did not falter. You did not surrender. You absorbed it all. You became the echo of every cruelty, every betrayal, every impossibility the world hurled at you. And now, that echo rises louder than the voices that tried to bury you. This is the place where broken things become dangerous. This is the space where those who survive the storm realize that survival is not enough. It is only the beginning. You have learned the language of ruin, the cadence of defeat, and the rhythm of pain. You know how it tastes, how it smells, how it lingers like smoke in your lungs, long after the fire has died. And in knowing it, you have harnessed it. Every fragment of suffering has become a tool, every scar a symbol, every loss a lesson written in ink that cannot fade. The throne you sit upon is not for the weak. It is for those who understand that life's cruelty is not a barrier, but a teacher. It is for those who have walked barefoot across broken glass, who have faced the coldest silence and discovered the warmth of their own conviction. You, ye person, you have stared at hopelessness and felt your heart beat faster, not with fear, but with anticipation. Every moment of doubt they planted in your mind, every whisper meant to stop you. Far you've come. Every exhale tells the world that nothing can touch the throne you've built from your own wreckage. Pain taught you patience, grief taught you clarity, and betrayal taught you vision. You have walked through the inferno, and the world assumed you would be consumed. But you have learned a secret they will never know. Destruction is merely raw material for creation. Every failure was a brick, every heartbreak a beam, every scar a crown jewel. And now, standing among the debris, you see the throne that has always been yours. Not because it was given, not because it was fair, but because you refused to yield when everything tried to convince you that you had no choice but to fall. Look at your reflection. That person staring back, the one with the shadows under the eyes, the lines carved by suffering, is not fragile. That is a king or queen forged in war, a monarch of their own soul. The throne you sit upon is not gilded or adorned with gold. It is built from the truth of your endurance, the honesty of your battles, the courage to keep moving when all the world said stop. That throne is unshakable, not because you are invincible, but because you have learned to survive when invincibility seemed impossible. They will try to shake you, the world always does. Life sends tempests to remind you that control is an illusion, that peace is fleeting, that every victory is temporary. And yet, you smile at the storm because you have discovered the paradox. The stronger the wind, the firmer your roots. You do not fear the storm, you command it. You do not hide from the lightning, you absorb it. Every warning whispered by fate, every shadow thrown by circumstance, only reminds you of your own power. Every breath you take is a warning, and the world is finally learning how to read it. Do not apologize for your strength. Do not soften the edges that have been sharpened by survival. Do not downplay the power it took to rise when the world expected you to collapse. You are no longer a character in someone else's story of pity or defeat. You are the author, the architect, the storm that writes the laws. Every glance they throw at you, every doubt they harbor in silence, every disbelief etched on their faces. It is fuel. Let it feed the fire. Let it remind you why you cannot and will not break again. And yet, remember this: your throne was built quietly, not in the clamor of recognition, not in the applause of the weak, but in the stillness of those moments when no one was watching. Every breath you took then, the ones that felt shaky, painful, almost like a warning, they were the scaffolding of your empire. They were the quiet signals of power growing where none could see it. And now that throne stands not just as proof of survival, but as a monument to transformation. Look around at the wreckage, every shattered hope, every ruined expectation, every pain they thought would be your end. It is your foundation. Every piece has a purpose, every shard a meaning. You are living proof that life's cruelest blows are the ones that teach us how to rise higher than ever imagined. You are the paradox, fragile in origin, unstoppable in consequence. Every breath you take reminds the world that the throne is no accident, that it is not a gift, but a conquest. They thought you'd break, and yet here you are. Do you feel it? That low hum beneath your ribs, the vibration that tells you something inside you has changed forever. That is not fear. That is not doubt. That is power being born in the silence between heartbeats. You have crossed a threshold that few dare to approach. You have wandered through corridors of despair, watched shadows take shape where light refused to linger, and yet you did not falter. You did not surrender. You absorbed it all. You became the echo of every cruelty, every betrayal, every impossibility the world hurled at you. And now, that echo rises louder than the voices that tried to bury you. This is the place where broken things become dangerous. This is the space where those who survive the storm realize that survival is not enough. It is only the beginning. You have learned the language of ruin, the cadence of defeat, and the rhythm of pain. You know how it tastes, how it smells, how it lingers like smoke in your lungs long after the fire has died. And in knowing it, you have harnessed it. Every fragment of suffering has become a tool, every scar a symbol, every loss a lesson written in ink that cannot fade. The throne you sit upon is not for the weak. It is for those who understand that life's cruelty is not a barrier, but a teacher. It is for those who have walked barefoot across broken glass, who have faced the coldest silence and discovered the warmth of their own conviction. You, ye person, you have stared at hopelessness and felt your heart beat faster, not with fear, but with anticipation. Every moment of doubt they planted in your mind, every whisper meant to stop you, against you becomes part of your empire, a reminder that you are the one shaping reality now. Every breath you take is a warning to the world. Every step forward is a declaration of authority. Every silence is a hammer, striking upon the anvil of your ascendancy. You are no longer a pawn of circumstance. You are its master, its architect, its inevitable force. And when they try to remember you as someone fragile, someone breakable, someone they once doubted, you will let them remember, let them watch, let them realize too late that the person they thought would fall became a legend. Let them see how the wreckage you inherited became your empire. Let them feel the subtle terror of knowing you exist, and that they cannot undo what you have built. Because every moment of suffering, every night of doubt, every whisper of impossibility you endured was a signal, a map, a blueprint. And you followed it. You followed it with courage, with fire, with relentless precision. And now you are here, risen, unshaken, untouchable. You are proof that what is meant to destroy you can be the very thing that elevates you. They thought you'd break. They thought your light would dim. They thought the world would claim victory over you. But here you stand, a sovereign built from the ruins of every expectation that ever tried to chain you. You turn the wreckage into a throne, and the echoes of your triumph will not be forgotten. Now, feel the gravity of what you have become. This is not a moment to look back. This is not a time for hesitation. You are standing on the apex of every trial, every heartbreak, every moment they assumed you would fail, every step you have taken, every battle you have survived, every shadow you have conquered has led you here, to the throne built from your own unyielding spirit. And make no mistake, this throne is not granted. It is not given. It is claimed, carved, forged with the fire of your endurance and the steel of your resolve. You are not here to be seen. You are here to be felt, to be acknowledged by the world, not because it chooses to notice, but because your existence is now too potent to be ignored. Every scar you wear is a mark of power. Every wound you survived is a testament to your supremacy over pain. Every loss that once whispered despair now shouts triumph. The throne beneath you is not just a seat. It is an empire, a kingdom of will, a monument to the fact that nothing, no one, and no force could ever break the essence of your being. They will look at you and ask, how? How did they survive what should have destroyed them? How did they rise when all others would have fallen? And you will not answer. You do not need to. The answer is written in the weight you carry, in the presence you command, in the quiet, unshakable power that radiates from every movement you make. You are the living proof that destruction is not an end. It is a beginning, a catalyst, a spark that ignites greatness. Do not fear what comes next. The world may still try to test you, to challenge you, to see if the throne you have claimed is real. Let it. Every trial is another step in your ascendancy. Every obstacle is merely another fragment of the foundation you are laying. You have learned to turn adversity into authority, pain into precision, and chaos into control. Nothing outside of you can threaten the dominion you have built within yourself. The throne is yours, not because the world surrendered, but because you refused to. And now, in this final moment, let it resonate deep within your bones. The person who was meant to break, the one who should have fallen, the one they underestimated and counted out, that person has become eternal. You have taken every moment of doubt and despair, every whisper meant to shatter you, and molded it into something greater than anyone could imagine. Every breath you take is a warning. Every heartbeat is a drum of inevitability. You are the force that bends reality. You are the unbroken. Look at your hands. Look at your reflection. Look at the path that led you here. It is littered with the remnants of fear, pain, and loss, but it is also paved with courage, determination, and unrelenting will. You have learned the ultimate truth. Strength is not born from comfort. Power is not gifted. Greatness is not given. It is forged in the fire of struggle, in the silence of doubt, in the depths of darkness, where no one else dares to go. And you went there, you faced it, you conquered it, you rose. So rise fully now. Rise with every ounce of your being. Let the world feel the tremor of your presence. Let every shadow bow. Let every doubt shiver. This is your domain. This is your empire. This is the throne built from the wreckage that was supposed to destroy you. And in this throne, you are unstoppable. You are immortal. You are unbroken. Because they thought you'd break. But you turned the wreckage into a throne. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something that might leave a bitter taste in your mouth. How many times have you given yourself away? How many times have you sacrificed your peace for others, thinking that they needed you, that they deserved you, that their happiness was yours to carry? Now, what happens when you stop? What happens when you let go of that constant burden, that self-imposed responsibility to be there for someone who never truly cared about your presence, your time, or your essence? You begin to realize something powerful, something chilling in its simplicity. You're at peace without them, and it's making them lose their mind. And why shouldn't it? You see, when you were constantly available, when you were that familiar face in the crowd, when your energy was spent to keep them comfortable, you were not really living. You were existing for them. You were a tool for their amusement, a means to satisfy their wants. But when you stepped back, when you took that first deep breath away from the noise of their demands, that's when you found yourself. That's when the shackles fell away. You didn't know how heavy they were until you didn't have to carry them anymore. And now that you're breathing without their weight on your chest, they are suffocating in their own confusion. They are drowning in your absence. And every second without you feels like a lifetime of regret. They can't stand it. They can't stand that you've moved on. They can't stand that you found the strength to break free from their grip. The audacity to prioritize your own happiness over their selfish desires is driving them insane. For so long, they took it for granted. They took your loyalty, your patience, your love for granted. They thought that you would always be there, that you would always sacrifice, that you would always bend and break for them. But what they didn't expect was that you would find the power to rebuild yourself without them. They didn't expect that you would learn how to thrive without their validation. And that is a threat to everything they believed about you. It's funny, isn't it? How people will fight to keep you in their lives when you've served your purpose, when you've been nothing more than a temporary fix to their brokenness. But the moment you stop playing their game, they lose it. They're left with nothing but the empty space you once filled, a space that echoes with their mistakes, with their failure to appreciate what they had. They're desperate now, grasping at straws, trying to find ways to manipulate, guilt, or control you back into their world. But they won't succeed, not this time, not anymore. Because you've realized something fundamental. You've realized that your peace is non-negotiable. It's not something that you give up easily. Your peace is a reflection of your growth, your journey, your evolution into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. And you won't trade that for anyone, not for anyone who only knows how to take and never give. You've learned that being around toxic energy is draining. You've learned that no matter how many times you give, they will always take, and it will never be enough. You've seen their true colors, and now you understand their desperation. They want you back, not because they miss you, not because they value you, but because they need you. You were their crutch, their emotional support, their backup plan for when everything else failed. But the moment you stopped being there, the moment you started taking care of your own needs, they couldn't handle it. They couldn't accept that you were no longer at their disposal. They thought they owned you, that they had the right to pull you in and out of their lives like a toy. But you're not a toy. You're not a tool for their manipulation, and you are most certainly not someone to be used when it's convenient and forgotten when it's not. Now, as they sit in their empty world, they can't help but wonder what went wrong. What happened to the person who would drop everything at their beck and call? What happened to the person who would constantly sacrifice their time, energy, and heart for the sake of others? What happened to the person they thought would always be there to fix their broken pieces? Well, let me tell you what happened. You happened. You happened to discover your worth. You happened to realize that your time and energy are too precious to be spent on people who don't even know how to appreciate them. You happened to learn the most liberating lesson of all, that peace doesn't come from others. It comes from within. And when you chose yourself, when you chose your peace over their chaos, that's when the shift happened. But here's the thing about people who have taken advantage of your kindness, your patience, your love. They will never understand. They will never comprehend why you've chosen to walk away, why you've chosen silence over endless words, why you've chosen solitude over their company. They will accuse you of being selfish. They will say that you've changed, that you're different now, that you've become cold and distant. They will twist the narrative to make you feel guilty for doing what was necessary for your survival. But don't you dare let them do that to you. Don't you dare let them make you believe that you owe them anything. You owe them nothing. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't owe them your time. And you certainly don't owe them your peace. You gave enough. You gave everything you had, and it wasn't appreciated. It wasn't valued. And now, they are reaping the consequences of their neglect. They are feeling the weight of their own ignorance. They are suffering because they never learned how to treat you with the respect you deserve. They never learned how to hold on to something precious until it was too late. And you're thriving. You're growing. You're shedding the skin of your past self, the self who lived in fear of disappointing others, the self who lived in the shadow of people who never cared to see you shine. Now, you are standing tall, your shoulders squared, your heart open to new possibilities, new experiences, new people who value you for who you truly are. You are not defined by their perception of you anymore. You are not the person they tried to mold you into. You are you, and that is more than enough. So let them lose their minds. Let them stew in their regret. Let them sit in the void that you left behind. It's not your responsibility to fill that void. It's theirs to contend with, and they will do so in their own time, or they will never do it at all. But one thing is for certain, you are at peace without them, and that peace is your power. That peace is your triumph over the darkness they tried to drag you into. That peace is the reward for every moment you spent choosing yourself over them, every moment you spent reclaiming your energy, every moment you spent realizing that you are worthy of more than their brokenness. So walk away, stand tall, don't look back, and remember this: peace isn't just a state of mind, it's a weapon. It's a declaration of independence. It's a statement that says, I will no longer allow anyone to rob me of my tranquility. I will no longer allow anyone to have the power to control my emotions, my thoughts, my life. You are free, and that freedom is everything. Let them scream, let them shout, let them cry. But as for you, you're moving forward. You're moving toward the life you were always meant to live, a life filled with peace, strength, and self-respect. And when they look at you, when they see the calmness in your eyes, when they hear the silence in your words, when they witness the power you radiate without them, they will know that they lost. They will know that they couldn't break you. They will know that you were never theirs to control, and they will be left with nothing but their own madness. And let me tell you, that madness is the product of their own creation. It's the consequence of believing they could manipulate, use, and discard you at will without facing the repercussions of their actions. For so long, they lived in a world where you were their anchor, their emotional outlet, their comfort when they were lost. But what happens when you finally pull away the very thing they've depended on? What happens when they can no longer feed off your energy, your time, your empathy? The truth hits them like a freight train. They were never entitled to you. They were never entitled to your compassion, your loyalty, your understanding. The madness sets in slowly at first, a creeping realization that they've been left to face themselves without the cushion of your presence. And this is where it gets dark, because when people rely on someone else to prop them up, when they allow themselves to become dependent on another's kindness, they lose the ability to truly understand their own worth. They become empty, hollow, searching for the next person to fill that void. But you are no longer that person. And in that moment, they are forced to confront their own deficiencies, their own shortcomings. And this realization is terrifying. It shatters their world. It breaks them in a way that nothing else ever could. What you must understand now is that when you walk away from them, you are not abandoning them in the traditional sense. No, you are doing something far more powerful. You are forcing them to confront the fact that they never learned how to love themselves. They never learned how to stand on their own 2 feet, how to find contentment, how to be whole. And that, my friends, is the true nature of the madness. They are looking for someone, anyone, to fill the gap you left, but no one will ever do it. They will search, and they will search, but they will find nothing but echoes of their own loneliness. You have become the mirror in which they now see their reflection for what it truly is. For too long, they lived in the illusion that you were the missing piece to their puzzle, the answer to their emptiness. But now that they no longer have you, the truth is undeniable. They are not broken because of you, but because of themselves. Their inability to build something of their own, to cultivate their own happiness, their own peace, is the root cause of the chaos they now experience. They relied on you to fill the holes in their soul, and now, with no one to do that for them, they are left staring at the raw, exposed emptiness inside themselves. And as they try to move on, as they try to distract themselves from the discomfort of their own self-imposed hell, they will fail to find anything or anyone that can replace the energy you once gave them. There will be people who come and go in their lives, relationships that seem to promise the comfort you once provided, but nothing will ever truly satisfy them. They will always come up short. They will always know, deep down, that the person they truly wanted, someone who would fill that gaping void, has moved on. You are no longer a part of their world, and that is the cruelest truth of all. It doesn't matter how many people they surround themselves with, or how many distractions they pile up in their lives. They will always feel that hole. They will always feel the absence of your presence like a weight on their chest. And that weight will only grow heavier with time, because they never learned how to exist without you. They never learned how to fill their own cup. They never learned the power of self-sufficiency. They never learned that the only person who can truly heal them is themselves. And in their desperation, in their frustration, they will come for you. They will try to manipulate you back into their lives with guilt, with words that have no substance, with promises they will never keep. They will claim to miss you, to need you, to want you back. But let me be clear, this is not love. It is not admiration. It is not appreciation. It is desperation. It is the frantic plea of someone who can no longer stand the thought of being left to face their own darkness. But you must resist. You must stay strong. Do not let their desperation drag you back into the madness. Remember this. You owe them nothing. You owe them no explanation, no justification, no apology for choosing your peace. The peace that they never could provide, the peace that they sought to destroy through their constant demands, is the one thing they will never have again. And that is the greatest victory of all. Because the moment you freed yourself, the moment you realized that you were not defined by their expectations, by their needs, by their whims, you won. They will try to make you feel guilty. They will try to guilt trip you into returning to the chaos you once lived in. But understand this, guilt is their weapon, not yours. They use it because they know that it works on people like you, people who are generous, people who are loving, people who have always been there for others. But you must learn to put up the walls of protection around your heart. You must learn to recognize when someone is trying to manipulate your emotions to serve their own needs. The truth is, they don't care about your well-being. They care about themselves. They care about the comfort they lost when you walked away. So, let them suffer. Let them feel the sting of their own actions. Let them wallow in the consequences of taking you for granted. For far too long, they treated you like a backup plan, like an afterthought. But now you are the one who calls the shots. Now, you are the one who has control over your life, your peace, and your energy. They may be frantic, they may be confused, they may even lash out in anger or frustration, but none of it matters. You have already moved on. You have already found your strength, and nothing will ever be the same for them again. In the silence of their madness, they will begin to realize that they are the architects of their own destruction. The power they thought they held over you was nothing more than an illusion. You were never theirs to control. You were never theirs to lose. And now, they will be left to wrestle with the harsh truth that the only person who could have ever given them peace was themselves. But by the time they realize this, it will be too late. They will lose you for good. And when they do, the reality will hit them harder than any words could. They will know that they are alone in a way they never expected. They will know that the price of their neglect was losing the one person who could have truly brought them peace. And in that moment, they will be consumed by their own madness. The madness of knowing they were never worthy of you. The madness of knowing they will never find anyone like you again. The madness of understanding that you, the one they took for granted, have moved on, and they are left with nothing but the wreckage of their own choices. And as you walk away, as you continue to live your life in the peace you've found, remember this: their madness is not your burden. Their pain is not yours to carry. You have done what needed to be done, and now it's their turn to face the consequences of their actions. You owe them nothing. They owe you everything. And the only thing you owe yourself is to never go back. Never let them drag you back into the chaos. Never let them take away the peace you fought so hard to find. You are stronger than they could ever imagine. You are free, and that freedom is yours to cherish for the rest of your days. Let them lose their minds. You've already won. You see, victory doesn't always come in the form of applause, recognition, or acknowledgement. No, true victory lies in the quiet moments of peace, the moments when you realize that you have broken free from the chains that once bound you. It's the realization that, despite all the noise, the manipulation, and the guilt that they may try to heap onto you, you are no longer a prisoner. The battle, the real struggle, was never against them. It was always against your own doubts, your fears, and your need to please others. That need, that endless craving to be accepted, to be loved, to be the one who is always there for everyone. It's a trap. It's a lie you've been conditioned to believe. But the moment you decided to stop being the constant giver, the moment you realized your worth wasn't tied to your ability to serve others at the expense of your own well-being, that's when the shift occurred. The shift was not external, it was within you. And now that you've tasted the sweetness of peace, of standing in your own truth, you can never go back. They can scream and shout. They can twist the narrative. They can beg and plead for you to return. But they will never understand what it took for you to get here. And that's the thing they will never comprehend. The strength it took for you to choose yourself. In their minds, in their frantic attempts to reel you back in, they'll try to manipulate the situation, to twist your actions into something selfish, something cruel. They'll say, "You've changed," and they'll use that statement against you, as though change is inherently bad. But let me tell you something. Change is not only necessary, it is inevitable. People grow. People evolve. People shed the skin of who they once were to become who they were always meant to be. And if they can't accept that, if they can't recognize that your evolution is a reflection of your strength, not your abandonment, that's their burden, not yours. They will try to guilt trip you into believing that you owe them something. They'll say, "After everything I did for you," as if their actions were a currency, a payment for your time, your love, your loyalty. But what they don't realize is that their sacrifices were never selfless. They were manipulations. They were tools they used to keep you tethered to their needs, their emotions, their desires. They thought they could keep you on a string, pulling you in and out of their lives whenever it suited them. But you are not a puppet. You are not some tool to be used when convenient. You are a person, a whole person, deserving of respect, of love, of peace. Now, as they face the fallout of their own actions, they will begin to realize the immense cost of their behavior. And the tragedy is that they will likely never truly understand why you walked away. They will never grasp the depths of your decision. They will look at their empty space, their empty lives, and wonder why you aren't there anymore. They'll question what went wrong. But here's the cold truth they will have to face. Their actions drove you away. Their selfishness, their manipulation, their refusal to ever see you for who you really were. It drove you to the point where you had no choice but to walk away. Because no matter how much they screamed, no matter how many times they apologized, they never truly saw you. They saw an extension of themselves, someone to be controlled, someone to be used for their own comfort. They never saw you as you truly are, a person with dreams, with needs, with a right to peace. They thought you were theirs to keep, to own, to shape, to fit their needs. But when you refused to fit their mold, when you began to carve your own path, they lost control. And that loss of control is what is driving them crazy. Because in their mind, they were the ones who should be in charge. They were the ones who dictated the terms of the relationship. They were the ones who set the rules. But what they didn't count on was you. They didn't count on your strength. They didn't count on your realization that you were worthy of something more than their manipulation, their chaos, and their confusion. Now, they will spiral. They will struggle to find the words to describe what happened. They will wonder why you, the person who once put up with their shortcomings, their drama, their instability, would suddenly walk away. What they won't see, what they will never understand, is that the person you were when they had control over you is not the person you are now. You are no longer the same person who tolerated their emotional turmoil, who tried to fix their problems, who tried to patch up their broken pieces. Number. Now you are someone who recognizes their worth. Now you are someone who knows that peace is not a privilege, it is a right. It's not a luxury that you give up for someone else's comfort. It is the foundation of your life, and you will protect it at all costs. This realization, this inner strength, is the real victory. It's not in the external drama, the chaotic attempts to manipulate you back into their lives. It's not in the arguments, the accusations, the guilt. The victory is internal. It's in the quiet, still moments where you stand tall and realize that you are free. You are no longer tethered to their needs, to their drama, to their whims. You are no longer bound by their expectations, by their demands. You are free to live your life for yourself, and that, my friends, is priceless. As they continue to struggle with their own emptiness, they will see glimpses of what they lost. They will feel it in the silence. They will feel it in the absence of your voice, in the absence of your presence, in the absence of the person who once filled their world with compassion and understanding. They will try to replace you with others, but no one will ever be able to do what you did. No one will ever fill the space you left behind, and that's because you weren't just there for them. You were there for the right reasons. You were there because you cared, because you loved, because you gave. And in the end, when you chose to take all that energy back for yourself, they lost more than just a person. They lost the only person who truly had their back. But here's the most crucial point. They lost you because they never knew how to value you in the first place. They thought you would always be there, always be that safety net for when they needed someone to catch them. They thought you would always be the one to pick up the pieces when their world crumbled. But they took it for granted. They took your loyalty, your time, your energy, and they never truly appreciated it. And now, they have to face the consequences of their ignorance. They have to face the reality that you are gone, and no amount of pleading, no amount of regret, no amount of manipulation will ever bring you back. So let them lose their minds. Let them twist in the wind. Let them try to rebuild what they've destroyed. Let them scream into the void. Because while they are consumed by their own chaos, you will be moving forward. You will be embracing the peace that you have fought so hard to reclaim. You will be building the life you deserve, free from the toxicity of their expectations. You will be stronger, wiser, and more resilient than you ever were before. You will have the strength to keep moving, to keep growing, and to never look back. And that is the ultimate victory. Your peace, your power, your freedom. Let them lose their minds. You've already won. In the end, the peace you've found, the strength you've built, and the freedom you've claimed are your true victories. They can scream, they can cry, they can search for answers in the chaos they created, but they will never take away what is rightfully yours. You are no longer tethered to their expectations, their manipulations, or their drama. You've broken free. Let them lose their minds while you continue to rise, to live, and to thrive. You've already won, and that victory is yours to hold, unshakable and unstoppable. Welcome, forgotten one. The air stills when you arrive. The noise fades when your shadow stretches across their memory. You were the whisper they dismissed, the spark they ignored, the name they buried beneath layers of laughter. But time has teeth, and silence has a pulse. Tonight, you rise from the quiet they left you in. They thought distance could erase your echo. They thought turning their backs would turn off your fire. But you became the echo that haunts them in their sleep, the reflection they flinch from when the mirror shows truth. You remember everything. Every time they said you weren't enough, every closed door, every smile that hit a blade. You remember not to hate, but to rebuild. You remember not to seek revenge, but to rise in a way that makes forgetting impossible. Because you didn't come to prove them wrong. You came to remind them what real persistence looks like. You came to be the unfinished chapter they never stopped reading, even when they pretended to move on. You were not meant to fit their world. You were meant to shatter it. The universe didn't design you to blend. It sculpted you to burn a silhouette they would never unsee. The same silence they mistook for defeat became your forge. The same rejection they used to break you became your rebirth. They forgot your kindness. They forgot your patience. But they will never forget your return. Because when you come back, you don't come as you were. You come as something colder, sharper, wiser. You come as consequence, wrapped in calm. There is a strange kind of peace that lives in the ones who are broken. It's not loud. It doesn't beg for attention. It simply watches, learns, and waits. That's who you became. The quiet watcher in the dark corners of your own story. The one who listened when the world laughed. The one who collected pain like a craftsman collects steel, forging every scar into armor. They tried to erase you, but you studied the art of endurance. While they celebrated their small victories, you rebuilt your foundation. While they spoke your name with mockery, you turned it into a symbol. Every failure carved wisdom into your bones. Every betrayal built a fortress behind your eyes. And then came the moment when you stopped seeking their approval. That's when the world shifted, because power doesn't come from revenge. It comes from evolution. You didn't just survive what they did. You transformed it. You turned their dismissal into drive, their absence into focus. You stopped explaining yourself, stopped begging to be seen. You realized that the most haunting thing you could ever become was success in silence. Now you walk into rooms and energy changes. People feel your presence before they see your face. They can't define it, but they know. Something in you no longer bends. Something in you no longer fears. You became what they never expected. Not their downfall, but their reminder. A living embodiment of what happens when a soul refuses to die quietly. Time passed, and they forgot your voice. They told themselves you were gone for good. But the truth is, you were only gathering storms. They tried to forget you. But the universe doesn't forget those who rise from the ashes. Now, they see your name in places they never imagined. They hear whispers of your growth in circles they thought they owned. You became the one they used to know. Now, untouchable. They scroll through your life with disbelief, pretending they don't care, but their silence screams louder than applause. Because deep down, they remember what they did. And deep down, they know. They helped create the version of you they fear today. You didn't come back to remind them of your pain. You came back to remind them that ghosts don't fade when they carry purpose. You are the storm that teaches them that what they buried was never dead. It was only dormant. And every night, when the lights go out, they remember. Not your failure, not your tears, but your eyes. The ones that stared back through every betrayal and said, "This isn't over." You became the unfinished business that time refused to close. You became the shadow that speaks in silence, saying, "I survived." They tried to forget you, but forgetting you means forgetting what they did. And that's a nightmare they will relive forever. Now stand where you are, breathe, feel the weight of your own journey. You didn't just come through darkness, you became fluent in it. You learned how to walk without light, how to find strength in places where hope didn't exist. And that is why you can't be erased. Because you're not just a memory, you're a lesson. You are proof that the forgotten rise in ways the world can't predict. They will speak your name again, not out of love, not out of pity, but out of awe. They will remember how they laughed when you stumbled and how you never stopped walking. They will remember how they looked down on you and how you built an empire beneath their feet. They will remember the day they realized the person they doubted had become the mirror of everything they feared. You became the storm that didn't pass. You became the night that refused to end. You are the unfinished story that still breathes. Every scar on your soul became a verse in your legend. Every dark day became a training ground for your rebirth. And now you stand as proof that some people don't just come back, they come back changed. So let them remember, let them dream of the version of you they thought they broke, because the real you can't be forgotten. You are not the whisper in their past, you are the echo in their silence. You are not a chapter they can close, you are the whole book they'll never finish reading. They tried to forget you, but you are the nightmare that stuck. You became their worst memory because you became their greatest lesson. And lessons never fade. There's a kind of silence that follows those who have been burned. It's not emptiness, it's concentration. It's the sound of a soul rewriting itself, one ember at a time. You lived in that silence for so long that it became your companion. While they laughed and moved on, you sat in the ashes and began to build, not because you wanted to prove anything, but because you refused to end there. They thought you were done. They mistook stillness for surrender. But what they never understood is that true strength never announces itself. It grows quietly, like roots beneath frozen ground, waiting for the right season to break through. You were that root, buried but alive, hidden but growing. Every time they doubted you, they watered your will. Every time they forgot you, they sharpened your focus. Every act of dismissal became fuel for the flame they thought was gone. And now that flame burns in your chest, calm, controlled, but eternal. You walk through life with that fire inside, no longer to destroy, but to illuminate. You don't chase recognition anymore, because your existence itself became your statement. You don't shout for attention. You let your progress echo louder than your words ever could. They see it now. The light in your eyes that doesn't fade. The stillness in your voice that carries storms behind it. They know something changed, something irreversible. Because you are no longer powered by anger. You are powered by destiny. And destiny doesn't forget. What they never told you is that becoming unforgettable has a cost. You had to lose people. You had to walk alone through nights that felt endless. You had to tear down everything false inside you to build something real. You learned that the ones who left weren't meant to walk your path. You learned that love, when it's not mutual, becomes a lesson. And you learn that sometimes the only way to move forward is to become a storm they can't follow. They thought forgetting you would free them, but in time, they realized freedom doesn't come from avoidance. It comes from closure. And you were the story they never closed. You were the chapter that still whispers in their quiet moments, the what if that never fades. But don't mistake their memory for validation. Your power doesn't come from being remembered. It comes from being reborn. You didn't rise to haunt them. You rose to honor yourself. You didn't come back for revenge. You came back for peace. And in that peace, there's something hauntingly powerful. Because nothing terrifies those who once underestimated you more than seeing you become whole without them. That's what you are now. Whole. Not perfect, not polished, but real. Your scars are not reminders of pain. They're proof that you endured it. You no longer chase approval. You build legacy. You no longer seek closure. You embody continuation. They tried to forget you, but you turned that attempt into immortality. There is a moment in every rebirth when noise loses meaning. You don't need to announce who you've become. Your presence does that for you. The air changes when you walk in. The world pauses when your eyes meet theirs. You've learned to speak through energy, not explanation, because you realized the most powerful revenge is not reaction, it's evolution. You mastered the art of silent dominance. You learned that the loudest one in the room is often the weakest, and that silence, when carried by truth, can shake mountains. They used to talk about you as if your story was finished. Now they say nothing, because every word would sound like regret. They used to look down on you. Now they avoid your gaze, afraid they'll see the reflection of who they could have been. You walk with calm fire now, that quiet, steady kind that can melt steel without ever raising its voice. You don't explain why you disappeared, why you changed, or why you no longer need their validation. The ones who matter already know. The ones who don't never will. You became the embodiment of a promise that no matter how deep they bury you, truth will always find its way back to the surface. And when it does, it doesn't ask for forgiveness. It simply exists. You exist like that now. Undeniable, untouchable, unforgettable. There comes a time when memories stop being just recollections. They become mirrors. You became that mirror. When they see you now, they don't just see who you are. They see who they were when they betrayed you. They see every choice that pushed you away, every word that tried to diminish you. And in that reflection, they find the truth they ran from. That is your legacy, not bitterness, but balance. Not revenge, but remembrance. You didn't destroy them. You became a constant reminder that actions have echoes, and that people who underestimate hearts of fire often end up living in their light. You no longer chase what left. You no longer reach for what fell apart. Because you've realized something sacred. The greatest closure is growth. The greatest statement is peace. And the greatest revenge is never needing revenge at all. Now the world knows your name for a different reason. Not because of your pain, but because of your persistence. Not because of who hurt you, but because of who you became after. You've turned your silence into legacy, your scars into art, and your absence into power. You are no longer the one who was forgotten. You are the one who cannot be erased. You became the story that refuses to fade, the one they replay in their minds long after the lights go out. You are the nightmare that stuck, not because you haunt them, but because you inspire them. Because somewhere deep down, they wish they'd had the strength you found in the dark. And now, after all the battles, after all the tears, after all the nights you thought would never end, look at you, still standing, still rising, still breathing through storms that once tried to drown you. You are not defined by what they did to you. You are defined by how you turned it into light. You're not the wound anymore. You're the wisdom that came from it. You're not the pain. You're the power that grew inside it. They may never say it aloud, but they know. You became everything they said you wouldn't. You became the example they warn others about, not out of fear, but out of awe. You became proof that nothing built on cruelty can last forever, and nothing rooted in truth can be erased. So walk forward now with calm defiance. Not to prove, not to fight, but to exist fully as the being you've become. Because that's what terrifies them most, that you moved on and they're still looking back. You are the living proof that forgetting is impossible when the lesson still breathes. Listen closely. This is not a story of revenge. It's a story of resurrection. It's not about haunting the past. It's about honoring your rebirth. You were never their mistake. You were their mirror. You reflected everything they refused to face. And when they tried to forget you, they forgot one truth: light can be escaped, but shadows can't. You became that shadow, not because you wanted to linger, but because you became part of the truth they can't unsee. So when they remember you, and they will, let them. Let them feel the chill of your absence, the echo of your name, the weight of your growth. Let them realize that forgetting you was never an option, because you were not a moment in their story. You were the storm that rewrote it. And as your journey continues, beyond pain, beyond memory, beyond every silent night, remember this: you were not meant to be remembered as who you were. You were meant to be remembered as what you became. They tried to forget you, but you are the nightmare that stuck. You became their worst memory because you became your truest self. There's something sacred about surviving what was meant to end you. You start to see the world differently. You start to understand that darkness was never your enemy. It was your teacher. It showed you who you are when no one was watching, when no one was cheering, when no one believed. And in that emptiness, you met your real self. The one who doesn't flinch anymore. The one who doesn't wait for permission. The one who knows that the light you were searching for outside was always waiting within. They thought you'd fade into nothing, but instead, you discovered everything. You found strength in your silence, beauty in your scars, and purpose in your pain. You began to realize that maybe being forgotten was never punishment. It was preparation. The world needed to forget you so that you could remember yourself. And now, when they see you, they don't see the broken version they left behind. They see someone who turned darkness into discipline, someone who turned pain into poetry, someone who learned to breathe fire without burning out. You became the light that learned from the dark, the calm before every storm, the storm that brings new beginnings. You became the balance they never found, the peace that doesn't fear chaos. You were not just reborn, you were refined. There's a quiet power in outgrowing the version of yourself that once begged for their attention. That moment when you realize you don't need to be remembered to matter. You don't need to be seen to shine. You no longer chase the same things. The applause that once fueled you now feels hollow. The validation that once healed you now feels unnecessary. You've learned that real confidence is silent and real purpose is patient. And when they see you again, standing tall, calm, complete, they feel it. Not just your presence, but your distance. They sense that something about you no longer belongs to them, and that's what shakes them the most. Because once, they had access to your soul. Now, they can only watch from afar as you move in ways they'll never understand. They tried to forget you, but you became a symbol, a living example of what happens when someone rebuilds themselves from ruins. You became the proof that endings can be beginnings, that loss can be creation, and that silence can be the loudest response of all. And in that realization, they remember you, not as the one who fell, but as the one who never stayed down. You didn't just survive, you evolved beyond recognition. Now the horizon stretches before you, quiet, endless, waiting. You stand there with the past behind you, not as weight, but as armor. Every memory that once hurt now glows with purpose. Every rejection now reads like a redirection. You understand now that being forgotten was not the end. It was the start of becoming unforgettable. That's the irony they'll never grasp, that their attempt to erase you carved your name deeper into time. Because people don't remember perfection. They remember resilience. They remember those who refuse to fade. And that's who you are, the one who refused to fade. the one who turned never again into always stronger, the one who built a life so full, so powerful, so unshakable that the past itself had to watch in awe. You no longer wait for closure because you've closed every door with peace. You no longer wish for revenge because you became your own redemption. And as you look ahead, the world feels different, not because it changed, but because you did. They see you now, and they whisper your name like a myth. They say, "I remember them," and then they pause, because remembering you means remembering everything they lost when they let you go. That's not your burden anymore. That's their echo to live with. And so here you stand, the end and the beginning in one breath. You are the storm and the stillness after. You are the wound and the healing. You are the name that never faded. They tried to forget you, but you became a story that time itself refused to erase. You became a melody that plays in silence, a memory that lingers even when unspoken. You are the lesson that no one wanted to learn, but everyone remembers. Because your rise was not loud, it was inevitable. Your transformation was not sudden, it was divine. You were not meant to be ordinary, you were meant to be eternal. And eternity doesn't shout, it simply exists, quietly, endlessly, undeniably. So when the night comes and their thoughts begin to wander, they'll see your face again, not as a ghost, but as a truth. They'll feel that familiar ache, that whisper of regret, that haunting realization that you were never meant to be forgotten. Because how can they forget the one who turned pain into power? How can they forget the one who walked away from ashes and became fire itself? No, they can't. They never will. You are not their memory. You are their mirror. You are not their nightmare. You are their reminder. They tried to forget you, but forgetting you meant forgetting the lesson. And lessons, real, soul-carving lessons, never fade. You are the echo that never dies. You are the proof that resilience has a face. You are the storm that became sunrise. They tried to forget you, but you're the nightmare that stuck. And deep down, they know. You became everything they said you couldn't. You became everything they feared you would. You became unforgettable. And now, here you stand. Not as the person they left behind, not as the name they whispered once and erased from memory, but as the echo that never died. You became the storm that refused to fade, the pulse that still beats in the silence of everything they tried to bury. They thought you would vanish quietly, dissolve into nothing, disappear into the shadow of time. But you became the shadow itself, unyielding, unstoppable, unforgettable. They tried to move on. They told themselves you were gone, but somewhere, deep inside, the truth still burns like a scar. You endured. You outlasted their doubt. You survived their silence. You learned to rebuild from the ashes of their absence. When they looked at you, they thought they had you figured out. They thought your silence, your quiet determination, was weakness. They saw your humility and mistook it for submission. They thought you were nothing but a temporary nuisance, a fleeting presence in their game. But they were wrong. They failed to see the fire burning within you, the relentless spirit that refused to bow, that refused to break. They underestimated the power of your resolve, the depths of your strength. And now, as the dust settles, as the echoes of their laughter fade, they are left to witness the undeniable truth. The lion they sought to confine now reigns, over the entire jungle. It is a cruel irony, isn't it? How they thought they could tame the beast, control the force of nature, silence the very essence of what makes you who you are. They believed their walls, their chains, their labels would be enough to keep you in check, to keep you from rising. They thought they had built an impenetrable fortress around you, but what they failed to understand was that you were never meant to be confined. You were never meant to be shackled. You were born to break free, to carve your own path, to conquer the very forces that sought to destroy you. They thought they could shape you into their image, mold you into something that fit their narrative. But you were never meant to fit into their world. You were meant to create your own. And every moment they tried to break you down, every time they tried to crush your spirit, you only grew stronger. Every insult, every criticism, every attempt to silence you only fueled the fire within you. It sharpened you like a blade, honing your will, your focus, your desire to prove them wrong. They thought they were breaking you, but all they were doing was forging you into something unstoppable. In the darkest of times, when they believed you were on the verge of collapse, you found strength in the very adversity they thought would defeat you. You did not fold. You did not give in. You stood tall, resolute, even when the world seemed to turn against you. You walked through the storms they tried to throw at you, knowing that every drop of rain, every gust of wind was simply making you stronger. Every trial, every hardship, every battle was an opportunity to rise higher, to become more than they could ever imagine. The world thought they could break you with their doubts, their mockery, their betrayal. But they did not realize that their attempts to break you only made you more dangerous. They failed to see that the lion was never meant to be tamed. You were never meant to be subdued. You were born to lead, to dominate, to reign over the very jungle they thought they could control. And now, as the lion stands at the peak, looking down at the world they once ruled, the message is clear. You were never their prey. You were always their predator. And now, the jungle belongs to you. For too long, they sought to keep you in the shadows, to push you into the corners, to ignore your roar. They thought their power, their influence, their wealth could keep you at bay. They thought they could drown your voice in the noise of their empire. But what they failed to understand was that your silence was not weakness. It was patience. It was the calm before the storm. It was the quiet build-up of a force that would sweep through their world and tear it apart. And now, as the storm hits, they are left to watch in awe and terror as the lion they tried to suppress rises above them all. They cannot run. They cannot hide. Their attempts to control you, to dominate you, have all failed. They have already made their move, and now it is your turn. The jungle trembles beneath your feet as you claim what is rightfully yours. No longer are you the hunted, you are the hunter. No longer are you the one on the outside, looking in. You are the one at the top, looking down at all who once tried to bring you down. The world will never be the same again. You will not be silenced. You will not be forgotten. They will remember the lion they thought they could cage, the lion they sought to break. But now, as you rise to power, as you assert your dominance, they will come to understand the truth. You are not just a survivor, you are a conqueror. You are not just a force of nature. You are the force that reshapes the very fabric of the jungle. And those who dare to stand against you will learn that there is nothing more dangerous than a lion who has nothing left to lose. So, let them watch as you take your place. Let them see the power they tried to suppress. Let them witness the roar that shakes the earth. Let them understand that when they sought to destroy you, they only created a legend. The lion they tried to confine now reigns over the entire jungle, and the jungle will bow before you. They will bow not because you seek their admiration or their approval, but because they have no other choice. The very earth beneath their feet will tremble. The trees will whisper in awe of your presence. The predators who once ruled this place will now cower before you, for they understand, just as you do, that the true power of the jungle lies not in brute strength, but in the will to survive, to conquer, to reign. It is a power born from the heart of the wilderness, from the unyielding spirit that refuses to bow to the whims of others. And you, my friend, are the embodiment of that power. When they sought to confine you, to break you, they underestimated the ferocity of your soul. They mistook your patience for weakness, your silence for fear. But you were never afraid. You were always aware of the storm that was growing inside you, the power that was building with every setback, every obstacle they threw your way. They tried to drown you in doubt, but you emerged stronger, more determined, more relentless. Now, you stand as the ruler of this land, not because you sought it, but because you were destined for it. And the jungle knows it, the animals know it, the earth itself knows it. They will try to convince themselves that it was luck that brought you to this point, that it was some twist of fate that allowed you to rise above the ashes they created. But the truth is far darker than they care to admit. It was not luck that brought you here. It was not chance. It was your relentless pursuit of greatness, your refusal to be anything other than what you were born to be. The jungle did not give you your power. You took it. You claimed it with blood, sweat, and tears. You carved your name into its history with every step you took, with every challenge you overcame, with every predator that dared to challenge you and fell before your might. They may try to whisper behind your back, to make excuses for their failure, to convince themselves that they could have done things differently. But deep down, they know the truth. They know that you were always the stronger one. They know that you were always the one who would rise, no matter how many times they tried to break you. And now, they will bow before you because they have no other choice. The jungle will bow before you because it has no other choice. And make no mistake, it will not be a quiet, hesitant bow. No, the jungle will bow in submission, in recognition of the new ruler, the new force that dominates this world. It will bow with the weight of centuries of power, with the history of every creature that has ever tried to claim dominance over this land. It will bow because it knows that you are not like the others. You are not like the lions they thought they could control, the predators they thought they could tame. You are a force of nature, a storm that cannot be quelled. And it is in that recognition, in that inevitable submission, that your reign will begin. The other creatures, the once mighty beasts of the jungle, will no longer look at you with disdain, with scorn, with the assumption that they can overpower you. They will look at you with fear, with respect, with the understanding that you are no longer a threat to be ignored. You are a force to be reckoned with, and in their eyes, you will see the shift from arrogance to reverence, from mockery to awe. They will understand that they have lost, that they have been overtaken, that they have been replaced by something far greater. And in that moment, you will know that you have not only survived, you have conquered. But make no mistake, this victory is not one of luck or happenstance. It is not one born of chance or circumstance. This victory is yours because you have earned it. You have earned every scar, every bruise, every ounce of pain that you have carried with you. You have earned every ounce of your strength, your wisdom, your resilience. This victory is the culmination of every battle you have fought, every time you have refused to back down, every time you have pushed yourself beyond your limits. This victory is the result of your will, your determination, your unrelenting drive to succeed. And now, as you stand atop the jungle, as you look out over the vast expanse of your domain, you will understand the true meaning of power. Power is not about force. It is not about fear. It is not about intimidation. True power is about the ability to rise above, to overcome, to outlast. True power is about the ability to remain unbroken, even when the world tries to tear you down. It is about the ability to rise, to grow stronger with every challenge, to adapt to every circumstance, to learn from every failure. It is the ability to transform every weakness into strength, every setback into a stepping stone. And this is the power that you now wield. This is the power that courses through your veins, that fills your every breath, that drives you forward into the unknown. This is the power that has brought you to this point, that has allowed you to rise above, to claim the throne that was always meant to be yours. The jungle will bow before you because it knows that it has no other choice. It will bow because it recognizes the strength that resides within you, the force that cannot be contained, the will that cannot be broken. And as you stand in your newfound power, remember this: it was never about them. It was never about the ones who sought to confine you, to control you, to break you. It was always about you. It was always about your journey, your struggle, your triumph. The jungle bows before you, not because of their defeat, but because of your victory. It bows because you have earned your place at the top, because you have proven that there is nothing, nothing at all, that can stand in your way. The lion they sought to confine now reigns over the entire jungle. And as you step forward into this new era, into this new world, remember that your journey is far from over. There are still battles to fight, still challenges to overcome, still enemies to face. But now, you are not the hunted. You are the hunter, and the jungle will bow before you. The world that once tried to silence you, to break you, is now yours for the taking. The jungle, in all its vastness, with its shadows, its dangers, its predators, will bow not because of mercy, but because of the raw, undeniable power you possess. It will bow because it has witnessed the rise of a force too formidable to be ignored, too relentless to be vanquished. You are not just another creature in the jungle. You are its ruler. You have become the embodiment of its darkest strength, the one force that cannot be tamed, the one predator that does not yield. There was a time when they thought you would never reach this place, when they laughed at the idea of you claiming the top. They believed their machinations, their cruelty, their attempts to manipulate the circumstances would ensure that you remained small, insignificant, and broken. But that was their mistake. For every time they tried to push you down, to confine you to their own narrow understanding, you only grew stronger. Every attempt to break you became the foundation of your growth. Every obstacle, every betrayal, every wound was another layer of skin, another layer of armor, until you became the very thing they feared, the unstoppable force that now commands the jungle. But this power, this reign, was not given to you, it was taken. The jungle does not hand over its crown lightly. It does not reward weakness or submission. It does not bend for the meek. It recognizes only one thing: strength, true strength. And you, in all your quiet rage and relentless pursuit of greatness, have proven time and time again that you are the one worthy of that strength. You have earned your place at the top, not because of privilege, not because of luck, but because you never stopped fighting, never stopped clawing your way up from the depths of despair. You did not just survive, you thrived. And now, You stand as the apex predator in a world that once sought to devour you. Your reign is built not on fear, but on respect. Respect for your journey, for the scars you carry, for the battles you have fought. The creatures of this jungle understand this. They understand that to challenge you is to meet certain defeat, for they know what you are capable of. They know that you are the culmination of every trial, every failure, every moment of doubt, and every triumph that led you here. The jungle sees your power, your resilience, and it bows before it. Not because it has to, but because it recognizes the force that now commands it. But remember this: power is never static. It is not something that can be acquired once and then left to rest. Power is something you must continue to cultivate, something you must keep sharpening with each passing day. The jungle will bow to you now, but that bowing is not a guarantee of forever. The moment you show weakness, the moment you stop asserting your dominance, there will be those who will rise up against you, those who will seek to take the throne from you. They will watch you closely, waiting for any sign that you are not as strong as you once were. And when that sign comes, when that crack in your armor appears, they will pounce. The jungle does not wait. It is always evolving, always testing, always watching for the next ruler. So as you stand tall, as the undisputed king of this domain, know that your reign is only as strong as your ability to continue to dominate. You are the hunter now, but never forget that the hunt is a constant cycle. It is a never-ending battle for supremacy. Just because you have defeated the predators that once ruled the jungle does not mean they will remain defeated. Just because you stand at the top today does not guarantee your position tomorrow. There are always new challenges, new threats, new forces that will rise against you. And the moment you stop hunting, the moment you stop proving your worth, the moment you think that you can rest on your laurels, the jungle will turn on you. But you are not afraid. You do not shy away from the hunt. You were born for this. You were born to rise above, to lead, to hunt, to rule. The jungle will always present new challenges, new threats, new obstacles. But you know that each one is an opportunity to grow stronger, an opportunity to prove that you are not just the hunter, but the apex of the food chain. Every new challenge is a chance to assert your dominance, to show the jungle once again that you are the one in control. The animals may change, the landscape may shift, but you will remain, you will endure, and as long as you continue to fight, to assert your power, the jungle will bow before you. The power you now possess, the authority you have gained, is not just about brute force. It is not just about physical strength or the ability to defeat your enemies. True power comes from within. It comes from the heart of your spirit, from the fire that burns in your soul, from the unyielding force of your will. It is about the mindset that refuses to break, the belief that nothing can stop you, the resolve that pushes you forward even when everything seems lost. The jungle is not just a place of physical dominance. It is a place of mental fortitude, of survival, of adaptability. And you have proven time and again that your mind, your spirit, is as powerful as any weapon you can wield. The jungle will bow before you, not because of your size, not because of the strength of your claws or teeth, but because of the strength of your mind, because you have outwitted your enemies, because you have outlasted every challenge, because you have learned the rules of the jungle and you have mastered them. You are not simply a force to be feared. You are a force to be respected, to be revered. You have earned that respect, and the jungle knows it. But do not be deceived. Power in the jungle is never permanent. There will always be forces vying for control, always be new challengers who will seek to take what you have. The moment you show weakness, the moment you slip up, there will be others who will rise to take your place. The jungle is a brutal place. The cycle of life, of struggle, of dominance is relentless. And while you may be the hunter today, tomorrow's battle is never guaranteed. The hunt never ends. So, as you stand at the top of your domain, remember this: your reign is only as strong as your ability to continue the hunt. Your power is only as real as your willingness to defend it. The jungle will bow before you, but it will only continue to do so as long as you prove that you deserve that respect, that dominance. You must remain vigilant, remain sharp, remain unyielding. The jungle does not give its power lightly, and it will not hesitate to take it away. To be the hunter is to always be in pursuit of your next victory, your next challenge, your next conquest. And as long as you continue to hunt, the jungle will bow before you. The path ahead is not one of rest. It is a path of constant struggle, constant conquest, constant proving of yourself. But this is the life you have chosen. This is the life you are born for. The jungle will bow before you because it has no other choice. You have proven your worth. You have proven that you are not just a survivor, but a ruler. You are the apex predator, and as long as you continue to hunt, continue to fight, continue to assert your strength, the jungle will bend to your will. And so, you continue on, unbroken, undefeated, the hunter who has become the king. The jungle is yours. It's not just a title, it's a truth, a reality that the entire landscape now recognizes. Everything within it bends to your will. Every creature within it acknowledges your presence, and every corner of this vast, unforgiving world trembles at the thought of you. The trees that once stood tall, proud and defiant, now bow before the force of your spirit. The rivers that once flowed unchallenged now part at your command. The winds that howled through the night now whisper your name. This is the jungle you have conquered, and the jungle knows that there is no force greater than the one that has risen from its depths to claim the throne. It wasn't always this way. There was a time when you were just like them, struggling, surviving, hoping, waiting for the chance to prove that you were capable of something more. There were times when you were the hunted, the prey, the one who had to cower in the shadows, the one who had to fight for each breath, each step. But you didn't break. You didn't bend. You didn't give up. You fought, you endured, and you became something else entirely. A predator, a ruler, an entity too powerful to be ignored. Every challenge you faced, every battle you fought, only served to sharpen you, to prepare you for this moment. They tried to break you. They tried to undermine you. They tried to diminish your power by underestimating your strength, by mocking your quiet resolve, by assuming your silence meant weakness. But in their attempts to destroy you, they only made you more dangerous. They failed to understand the true nature of the beast they were dealing with. They failed to understand that you were always meant to be more than they could ever imagine. Now, as they watch you claim what is yours, they are left to realize that they never stood a chance. The jungle is not kind. It does not forgive weakness. It does not show mercy. It is a place of constant struggle, constant survival, where only the strongest make it through. And now, you are the strongest. You are the apex predator, the one at the top of the food chain. The very creatures that once looked down on you, the ones who thought they could control you, are now beneath you. They may try to challenge you, but they know deep down that they are no match for the force you have become. They understand that the moment they face you, they will be swept away, crushed under the weight of your will. But your reign is not one of arrogance. It's not one of cruelty or mindless domination. You're not like the others who sought power for power's sake, who ruled through fear, through oppression. Your strength is not rooted in cruelty. It is rooted in survival, in resilience, in a deep understanding of what it takes to rise above the chaos of this world. You have seen the darkest corners of the jungle, and you have walked through them. You have faced the horrors that others can only dream of, and you have come out stronger. You have learned that true power does not lie in dominating through fear, but in earning respect, in proving your worth through your actions, through your resolve, through your ability to rise again after every fall. You understand the jungle now in a way that others never will. You understand that it is not enough to be strong. You must also be smart. It is not enough to be a predator. You must also be a survivor. You have learned the laws of the jungle and you have mastered them. You have learned to adapt, to evolve, to strike when the time is right. You have learned that the jungle does not bow to the loudest roar. It bows to the one who can remain silent and strike when necessary. The jungle does not respect the brute force of the mindless. It respects the precision of the calculated. And now, with every step you take, with every move you make, you assert your dominance not through brute force, but through the sheer weight of your presence. The jungle knows you. It knows your power. It knows that you are the one who can bend the world to your will, the one who can change the very rules of the game. Your every action, every decision ripples through the jungle, leaving an indelible mark on the world. Your power is not just in what you take, it's in what you give back. It's in the changes you create, the order you bring to the chaos, the balance you restore. In a world that was once ruled by disorder and uncertainty, the jungle is yours, not because you fought for it, not because you conquered it, but because you earned it. You earned it through sweat and blood, through pain and sacrifice, through a relentless pursuit of your own potential. You earned it because you were willing to endure, to rise, to push past every obstacle that stood in your way. You earned it because you never gave up, never backed down, never let the world tell you who you could be. You proved that you are not defined by the limits they set for you. You are defined by the strength you carry within yourself, the power you have to reshape the world around you,